I'm Dr. Ayngelia, Executive Committee Member for the USPC. I am going to touch on 6 tips for meet day nutrition. This is mostly for beginning and novice competitors, as seasoned competitors have already been through a few trial and errors. The first meet day nutrition tip is to eat consistently throughout the day. Bring enough food. Competition days can be long if there are numerous athletes competing, so lifters need to have enough food to maintain energy levels throughout the day. In order to eat consistently throughout the day without getting overly full, prioritize higher carb and higher calorie foods to have a constant supply of energy. These foods will naturally be less voluminous and keep lifters from being too full. Everyone is different in terms of how much and how often they like to eat throughout the day, but I would suggest at least eating after weigh-ins, because duh, and between squat and between bench and deadlifts. I personally don't like to eat after bench, but that's just my preference. If lifters tend to be more nervous on meet day and therefore struggle to eat or digest foods, the focus should be primarily on consuming liquid calories. Liquid calories digest faster because there is less breakdown required than foods in solid form. This allows us to take in enough energy to fuel performance without worrying as much about digestion. The second meet day nutrition tip is to get most out of your calories from carbohydrates. Food composition on meet day is important for success because lifters need to be consuming the nutrients that digest quickly and will provide them with energy at a faster rate to exert maximal levels of force on the platform. The nutrient that accomplishes this is carbs. Lifters need to prioritize carbohydrate intake over all other macronutrients, such as protein and fat, as they are the body's preferred energy source during maximal attempts and while recovering between attempts. Most athletes will be accustomed to consuming large amounts of protein to build and repair muscle mass, but protein intake should be lower on meet day. While protein is still important, our performance on meet day is less likely to be limited by structural damage to tissues. Instead, it will be limited by substrate depletion. Therefore, carbs need to take priority while competing to replenish energy stores. The third meet day nutrition tip is to not introduce new foods. It's important to stick with foods that you know you can digest well. Every lifter will respond differently to certain foods and therefore should only eat foods that they know they are comfortable eating before a training session. A good way to figure out what foods your body will tolerate, you can practice eating meet day foods before training sessions to know how your body tolerates them. If you normally consume candy, for example, Sour Patch Kids, which are powerlifters go to, then you can feel confident knowing that it probably won't affect your performance. However, if you never consume candy or high amounts of sugar but decide to house a whole bag of Sour Patch Kids throughout the day, you may not feel so great by the time deadlifts roll around. And it could possibly make you poop more because of all the sugar. Meet day nutrition tip number 4 is hydration. If we water cut to make weight, we need to hydrate more throughout the day with a 1-to-1 ratio of water to electrolytes. If you are not cutting weight, you can be more relaxed about hydration by consuming water and sports drinks for their electrolytes, such as Gatorade, Powerade, Pedialyte, etc., throughout the day without worrying about the ratio of water to electrolytes. Ensuring new hydration is important because being dehydrated by 1-2% can decrease performance, and reductions of 2-10% can result in cramping, and etc. Number 5, limit fat and fiber. Fat and fiber are great for keeping you full and regular, but these will not benefit you while competing. Fat will slow down digestion as the body takes longer to break it down, which can keep you full when instead you want to be taking in food more often throughout the day. It is also not the primary fuel source for the body while lifting, as it will not provide quick energy that is needed to perform the lifts. While fiber is important for daily living, it tends to cause lifters to feel bloated, sluggish, tired, and sometimes nauseous while competing. The sixth and final tip, and probably one of the most important for meet day, is your caffeine routine. Everyone has preferences on how much caffeine they consume on meet day, which they develop through trial and error. Research suggests that the optimal dose of caffeine to enhance performance is between 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. However, this can change depending on our individual caffeine tolerance. Our tolerance depends on how much and how often we typically consume caffeine, specifically before training. For those of you who don't regularly consume caffeine, a lower dose or no caffeine might be a little bit more suitable.